I think it was like towards the end of 2002, the beginning of 2003. So this is a long time ago, considering I'm 35 now. I was playing back then. Before that, I played online, just games as a kid, had some fun. So I got a computer and I was playing on my parents' computer, and I'm just gaming way too much, like an incredible amount of time. And eventually some of my friends introduced me to Counter-Strike. You're playing, shooting, explosive, very fast paced, but also online with other people, and you're getting like that competitive feeling. And then from there, we did a local event. It was in Reading, which is just outside of London, and it was a local 5v5 tournament. We had this LAN centres, and there was 4 of them across the whole UK. You had to win the local event, and then you could play against the other LAN centres, so they all connected together. I never was maybe super successful in that, but what I knew was this industry was super fun. It was very exciting. It was fast paced. It was something new, and I just fell in love with it. And at that point, I knew, even though I was studying, if I dedicate myself to these games and learning about it, maybe I can do more. So there's a company called Zowie. They make all the monitors, the mice, the keyboards. They gave me a job. I actually became friends with Heaton and Spawn. So my idols became my friends. They recommended me, helped me get this job at Zowie. And then Zowie started making content, and they said, we need someone who can talk English and who knows the games. So back then I used to hide behind a video camera and I would interview the players, but I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to show my face. That's what led me into doing eventually the broadcasting stuff. And I started all this way back in like 2011, 2012. I lived in Korea at one point. I was doing StarCraft 2. I did Counter-Strike. I even did Mobile Legends at one point. I've done all these different games. I did Apex Legends, but my goal was Counter-Strike and the game I love. And luckily from 2016 onwards, I've been full-time, but there was this whole long journey to get there. And it certainly wasn't easy, but I never gave up of the dream and the sight for it all. I think the biggest challenges I faced along the way was you kind of have to be very resilient. There are times where I was told, you won't make it, you're never going to be a good interviewer, you won't be on these big stages, and people said like, oh, he's terrible, but I never gave up, and I worked a normal 9-to-5 marketing job, non-esports job, and in my whole time, all weekends, all evenings, as soon as I finished work, I just did anything I could to be involved and stay active in esports, streaming, commentating. So, I mean, I worked in sales, recruitment, the army side of things and the electronics side. I just needed a job that would pay the bills so then I could chase my dream. And luckily, it all worked out in esports. I started to get some bigger events. Fans started to like me, started to work more on the community side, and I was able to grow into be the interviewer and host you see today. But the setbacks was like, sometimes you're not working 9-to-5, like you start at 8:30, but you finish at 7 p.m. And then I need to go back and try and do some of the esports work, some of the commentary. And then I'd be like, sometimes so tired, so depressed, so unhappy. I'm thinking, should I do this? Is it working out? There was multiple times where you felt like giving up, but I still loved the game. I still had passion for Counter-Strike that I didn't want to give up. And I always felt like if I did give up at one of these points, all that work before, all the things I'd done would be for nothing. And I didn't want to be that person that gave up on it. If you have good people around you, a good support network, you can get through it all. But gaming has always saved me because it's my escape from all of it. And it's not just the esports side, but it's just the playing Counter-Strike, the enjoying. I play like Pokemon Unite on my phone, for example, something different. It's an escape into a world that's different to the real world. So in terms of my role in connecting the fans and the players and everyone and putting it all together, I feel like I'm part of the storyteller of it all, where I need to ask the right questions to not just explain things for the viewers at home, but also our analyst desk. They might have a topic they need to answer or a story they're telling, so that if I can get an answer from a player that helps them say that narrative or explain more, maybe they learn something, that's great. But then also, I've always said it's so important that I'm still a fan of the game and I love what I do, because I try to ask questions also that some fans like. So give them information that they enjoy. And then also the emotional moments, being there when players, they've had a tough loss, or when they're winning and enjoying a moment, or giving them a chance to speak to the fans or give back to the fans in some way. And sometimes it's hard. Some players maybe don't speak English so good. Maybe they don't feel comfortable giving the interview at the time. So my job is always to have a good relationship with the players and make them feel as comfortable as possible and not push too far. I've asked some questions where players have said like, I don't want you to answer that question again, don't say that. I'll respect that. And then some fans will say, why didn't you ask this? And it's like, I have to be respectful of them. And you know, there is always a balance to everything. And a lot of my job is also not just a broadcast, but managing the relationships and how I have that behind with the players as well. So there's a lot that goes on with it, and there's a lot more than just what you see on screen. A typical day for me, if we're talking about before we get to the arena, it's like, make sure I'm prepared on my questions, come to work, see the players, talk to them as they come in before we're on camera. I think the best way to give an example is, I do my questions the night before. So I already plan who I'm going to interview. We send that off. We make sure the players know in advance. And then I'm always the first person in. So I'm always on the first shift of talent that come in, so that I'm there at the very beginning of the day. And then the players will arrive either just around the same time as me or just after me. Then I'll go off and get ready, makeup, whatever else, make sure I'm comfortable, make sure my questions I'm happy with still. Even I've had an interview before where I was completely prepared, then the organization signed their team to another organization, and all my questions had to change to talk about like this crazy breakthrough, you know, something like that can happen. Then if it's a stage time, for example, when we go to stage moment, I obviously need to be ready with some things of what's going to happen when I go on stage, how we get ready to introduce the crowd. For people who have been in the arena, sometimes we go in the arena that's off camera before the broadcast has started, talk to everyone, find out what they feel, find out and feel what the energy is before we go into all that. So there's all these little things and details that happen with it. Then I need to watch the game. Sometimes I like to sit and watch the game in the arena. Obviously we'll get fans ask for pictures, say hi, but the feeling of watching the game in the arena is much better than just watching it back in the green room. And at the end of the day, you're so filled with adrenaline and energy because you've gone through that. Then you need to calm down a little bit. And then again, next day's interview, so I need to prepare the night before on the questions. So I always say I'm like often the first in, last out, at least of talent, not production side. They're here working the longest. They do the most amazing work because these guys, you don't see them, but everything you do see on the screens, they're responsible for. So there's so much in it. There's so much that happens, and anything can change in a minute's notice. A player could feel sick, doesn't want to do an interview. You need to change all your questions, you need to adjust, because you might have specific questions detailed for that player and then change it. But it's always being able to be reactive and be fast on your feet with everything. The ritual is only just making sure I have as little to think about on the day as possible, and I've done as much in advance as possible so I can be relaxed and comfortable. I always need an energy drink. That is my thing in the morning. I'm a morning energy drink person, so I need that. And I've no coffee. I don't like the hot drinks so much. Tea, more recently I like tea, but it's definitely the energy drink is what I need before. And then normally, just before we go on stage, the only ritual I have is like, I start dancing around a bit and like get my body moving, and then I listen to just the music that's happening in the arena and get the feeling of the crowd, and then I'm finally ready to go on and attack to the stage. For the future of Counter-Strike and esports, I'm always an optimist. Even with Counter-Strike 2 not being in the best state as a game and how it's being developed, we have problems with cheaters, we have problems with online, we have problems with the VRS right now. But I always say this, and people can say, oh, you're crazy, but I was there when Counter-Strike 1.6 was dying. I was there when CSGO was first released and it wasn't good. We have problems with Counter-Strike 2 right now, but the player base is still strong. The updates are coming, and it might take more time, but I will always stay positive. Positive because maybe I'm naive and I love this game and it's been part of my life now for over 20 years, which is a crazy amount of time. But I also believe that Valve have always found a way to make it work and always been successful. And I think that we have more tournament organizers now. There's so many more. There's Blast, there's ESL, there's StarLadder, there's PGL, there's other tournament organizers making events. We've got Perfect World now in China. Like in China, the game has grown bigger than it's ever been. And that's a positive sign. So if that's happening in one part of the world, then it's just, we do maybe more events over there. You know, it's always growing in its own way. The productions are getting bigger, the arenas are getting bigger. So even if there are some problems, there are still a lot of positives to look at. And I'm always going to be thankful that we're going in that direction. What I want to see for the future though, is I want to see that we have a more fair and consistent way of teams making it to events. I want to see better things for competitive integrity and a better quality standard across the board. But you never know what can happen. We're always developing, we're always growing. And that's the beauty of esports. It's been around now a long time, but it's still so young. It's still so infant in comparison to football or basketball or something. And we're growing, we're learning, we're doing things a new way every time. And I'm sure what I'm doing now is not going to be the same in 2-3 years time. There's going to be other ways of doing it. And I just want to be a part of it and keep enjoying it. And I always said, as long as I'm still passionate, as long as I still love Counter-Strike, I'll keep doing it. If there's ever a moment where, because you can have a bad day and not enjoy something. But if I don't have the same passion to watch the game and play the game, then I'm done. But for now, I'm still play. People can see on my streams of what I'm doing. I'm playing more than ever. I'm still enjoying the game. And as long as that's still a factor, I'll be here doing what I do.